on the floor. On the floor.
Welcome back, everyone. My name is Nubius, joined here by the always fresh, the always Desi Fresh, and we have
What's up, guys?
game number 2 of the day coming at you. We have TSC up against FNF. What is that? Team Solo Cup up against Freebird and Friends. Team Solo Cup going to be in the blue trunks.
Actually, I thought it was Fatty and Friends.
They decided to change it up on us. They changed it in the site as well. Oh, those sneaky little devils.
No, there's two teams. There's Fatty and Friends and Freebird and Friends.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's confusing. No wonder I got it all screwed up. But anyway, why don't you
Yes.
take away the ban phase for us right now?
Sure. That Hecarim. The Hecarim getting banned out by Team Solo Cup, and that is not a ban you see. That's a ban that I haven't seen since Season 3, actually.
Or if you go back into the Challenger Series, Keen playing Hecarim mid.
Yes, that was an intense game. But maybe one of the members from FNF is a very good Hecarim player, and they just don't want to see Hecarim in the mid lane. Or maybe they're just maybe they decided that, hey, I think we're solid enough. We don't need to ban out a real champion.
Yeah, it could be it could be a throwaway ban so they can get something they really want. Maybe Tristana.
Maybe it's not come out yet. It hasn't come out yet, and they do have first pick.
And so I think that if they're forcing Fatty and Friends to really figure out who they want disappearing from the table. But let's kind of get a Moo being banned out. I'm kind of surprised by that. Because both picks, like a Moo is almost understandable. I'm guessing that Gator may have a very strong Moo. They might know about that. Tristana will be removed from the table though. So now there are a couple of very strong picks that you can lock in first. Kog'Maw, kind of surprising. Because Lucian's on the table, Caitlyn, Corki are also on the table, and they can punish Kog'Maw endlessly. And
We could see a lane swap then.
Potentially, but it depends on what support is locked in for Team Solo Cup. If they run a Braum, which can work fairly well with Kog'Maw, probably will not see a lane swap. But
If we see a Jenna though, Jenna is a definite. That's a definite lane swap.
yeah, I would also think that Kog Nami, they can go one-on-one, or they can go a standard lane quite easily, as well as lane swap, because Nami she's so strong. She provides so much control. Kog Nami is probably one of the most annoying bottom lanes to deal with if they have the synergy.
So I just want to make it known, this is the first game of the tournament that these teams are playing. So it seems as though both of these teams have actually done their research. Well, actually, at least it looks as though FNF did their research.
Alright, so Leona Graves getting locked in. I think that your prediction may be right. Assuming Team Solo Cup knows how to play the lane swap, they should be looking to do that, because you don't want to face off toe-to-toe against Leona Graves. The upfront burst, level 3, is so high, and the mobility of Kog'Maw is so low, it's like you're almost forced to lane swap, play safe, and that will get Kog'Maw around the bullying that Leona Graves has to offer.
Now the question is though, does Team Solo Cup know how to run the double jungle with the top laner following the jungle, or are they just going to send the top laner straight to the bottom lane without any sort of like experience bonus or anything?
The thing is, when you're up against a melee support and a rather low range AD carry, you don't need to run the double jungle so much, because you don't have to be afraid of the poke. The biggest thing you have to fear is at level 4 is a tower dive, because Leona will have 2 points in her W, which is a nice boost in armor and MR. She can take a couple extra tower hits. But that's really going to be dependent on who is jungling for Fatty and Friends. And if it's not a high damage jungler, then there's going to be no point to the dive either way.
So Braum does get locked in as support. So will we still see the lane swap?
I'm thinking that it'll be straight up lanes. Because Braum can control Leona enough that Kog'Maw can stay safe. It's just a matter of how well can Kog'Maw position. If he can position well, they should be very punishing to Leona and can almost ignore Graves, because Graves is all about his Q. He can get a couple auto attacks, yes, but his main source of damage are his abilities. He's that big mage AD carry, and teams have been trying to force him into play, but that clearly has not worked out terribly well. I mean, he was actually run, I know you don't want spoilers, I'm not giving you spoilers, but he actually was run last night.
Was it? Okay then. So we'll have to see how that works out for FNF. But Craigfa, I know we're a bit slow right now, but we have 3 minutes to just talk about all these picks. Craigfa with the Pantheon in the jungle. Now, he's just completely fallen off the map after the ultimate nerf.
He's still ridiculously strong pre-6 though.
Of course, he's so strong. Like, you have so much map pressure. Unfortunately, you don't get the guaranteed stun anymore. But if you can just position it behind them, that's just so much already.
The looming threat. You can't ignore it. That's the thing. Because if you stand in it, you're guaranteed to be stunned and you take a nice chunk of magic damage. If you don't stand in it, you're being forced to position elsewhere, and a good Pantheon will have it so, alright, either I sacrifice myself and I get out a nice chunk of damage, my team follows up, or I force the enemy team to be somewhere that they're uncomfortable with, and they still get picked off. I live, they die, and we have positional advantage. And now, I was really excited, I was really also hoping that Quite Proficient was going to run the Azir, assuming that it was going to be Fiora top. Because it could be Fiora top or Gnar top. I'm not really sure who they're going to run in the jungle at the moment. My guess...
Fiora? I mean, she has the sustain to stay in the jungle, but her clear speed is something you don't really like.
That's what I'm really trying to figure out what's going on here.
Jungle Fizz.
I think his clear time's faster, but he might fare better in mid than Fiora would. Gnar could actually do fairly well against Ahri, but who do you send up against Yorick? Maybe Fizz top?
This is really, really strange. We'll have to see how they are swapping around.
Alright, I think I have a general idea as to what they're doing, but I don't want to come out clean with it yet, just because I don't want to sound like an idiot if I'm wrong. But
yeah, like they could still lane swap before the time ends, so we'll have to see. We'll have to see then.
But I'd say in terms of who has the stronger team comp on paper, I'd say Team Solo Cup has it. They have a tremendous ganking jungler, Craigfa playing Pantheon. Gator provides an immense amount of lane control at level 3 playing Braum. The biggest thing is, though, he blocks nothing from Leona. So he's entirely going to be blocking Graves, Gnar, and Fizz.
The thing is, that's really the only... That's in the bottom lane, just in the bottom lane, you really only want to block the Graves. It doesn't matter if Leona jumps in onto your Kog'Maw. Like, what is Graves going to do? Jump past the Braum, then Kog'Maw will be able to just back off a bit, and then Graves will still be in the perfect position for Braum to get the lockdown. Alright, so it's been locked in. We have Fiora in the jungle. Fizz in the... I'm assuming that's mid lane. And Gnar in the top lane.
Yeah, that was to be expected, I think. I'm just not entirely
What
confident.
were you thinking?
What were you thinking? I was thinking it could have been Fiora mid, because with her dashes, she can output quite a bit of damage against squishy mages. And most Ahris that I see, most mid laners, if they're up to snuff, they will try to weave in auto attacks. And getting a point or two in that W on Fiora, and then just really trying to go crazy every time your Q is off cooldown, you could really do a number onto an Ahri, because her base health is low-ish. It's decent, but I think it's like 500, 480 maybe. And that's kind of why you see her running health runes over armor. Because she also does have sustain for her passive, but there's only so much you can do with that passive if you're taking a beating from a raw AD champion. But now, in terms of the overall lineup, it's so weird. There's a whole lot of melee to go up against when you have quite a bit of range between Ahri, Yorick, and Kog'Maw.
We'll have to see, though. So, I mean, this is just a bit of extra knowledge. FNF, they actually played in last year's tournament under the name of Innocent Bystanders, and Asno Gordo, like as you guys can see, he's actually the jungler in this game, but last year he was the mid laner. So maybe they just obviously they probably have a different roster now, because Asno Gordo and Fahoot, they played last year. The three members, the Leona, the Gnar, and the Fizz, I don't think they were on last year's roster. Maybe Asno Gordo just decided to move to the jungle to allow one of the newer picks to play in a more preferential role. But even if you look at his most played champions, they're all mid laners.
Okay.
So it's just a bit interesting.
It most certainly is. But anyway, we do have 20 seconds to go on the timer, so I'm going to crank up these upbeat tunes. This isn't typically my style, but it works. So anyway, we will be back momentarily. This is the Epic. That's the company hosting this tournament. The Epic Fall Tournament 2014. My name is Nubius, with my gloriously beautiful co-caster, Desi. And once we are finally into the game, we will join you guys once again with all the level 1 shenanigans. So stick around. Alright, so welcome back. Yeah, it didn't take as long as the last one did.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Clearly, none of these guys are running potatoes.
Well, that's kind of insensitive to potato computers. I'm guessing you don't have one then.
No. I have a nice one I built myself.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Alright, well anyway, level 1 shenanigans coming into play. I'm almost wondering if there is going to be an invade from Team Solo Cup, just because they have quite a bit of level 1 crowd control.
It doesn't look like it. We see Craig Fa and quite proficient in that top lane, hanging around in that bush. They're gonna put they're gonna put deep wards in. They're putting deep wards.
Charmer's already picked up on Thunder Chicken.
Yeah. Gnar though. He's walking around trying to spot out any sort of invade, but they're already in position. They're already in position to take.
Idea.
And there's no wards either. There are no wards from FNF.
Fatty and Friends.
Yes, Fatty and Friends. Looks like Thunder Chicken. Oh my God, this is okay. Thunder Chicken.
All right, so Thunder Chicken, he took
Gotta
the
remember
charm
that.
first. Number 1, you can use it for invade, but at the same time, up against the Fizz, if he tries to Q in early, you simply charm him, lay in with a couple auto attacks, and you win that trade right off the bat.
Here it is. Oh, if quite proficient comes out of this bush, it could give Fatty and Friends enough time to react to the red steel.
Well, the vision is kind of lacking. It also depends on. Oh, okay. So the smite goes out early. We just saw it in the shadows. And Proficient was not spotted, so I don't think that Plasma Demon has any idea at the moment that Craigsfa took that red buff. It's just a matter of is he going to walk through the ward after the fact. He will clear out the camp, so he'll have a timer on the red buff. But it's going to take that Fiora a little bit of time. Yep. Oh, he's going to walk through the ward, so...
it's going to be spotted out. There's not... What did he start? He started Aegis Azonia, so he could have level 2 ganked to the top lane. And especially against the Gnar, that would have been really devastating.
Better safe than sorry to try to get all 3 abilities before you try to go to town. Because the E on Pantheon is so good, as well as Q early on. It just deals so much damage. And then you also want to allow your laner to pick up at least level 2 so it can be a little useful in just tossing out one healing ghoul. Because that's really all you're going to do. Now at level 2 he's churning out quite a bit of damage. Plasma Demon is taking quite a bit of punishment. And with a Doran's Blade up against the Flask and Potions, he's not going to be able to stay in lane very long unless he gets into Mega Gnar quite a few times. Because that gives him a nice chunk of health.
But even in Mega Gnar form, will he be able to fight the Yorick? Sure, like now he's at full health, but once he's down back to Mini Gnar, that's just going to allow quite Proficient to just take control of that lane again.
And something that's kind of bad about playing Gnar against Yorick, when you're in Mega Gnar form, Yorick can block your Qs with his ghouls. So Yorick can essentially evade most of the punishment.
Yeah, he would have to use the bounce just to get in range of anything, and using your escape without any vision could be pretty devastating. Looks like Gregbot goes in, gets hooked, oh my god, Zenith's Blade by the Leona, but now she's taking so much punishment from that. And now Thunder Chicken getting a charm onto Fizz, but it's too late. The Q did come out, and he does troll pull away.
Oh, they're trying to bait DZX to come in here right now, but lane's just too pushed up. Craigsfa will need to flash if he's looking to get any sort of fight in, and the wave is also pushed.
In that top lane, though, Plasma Demon has to get out. Ignite is ticking.
Oh, he's dead.
Quite Proficient. Oh, he took the tower. He should know. He was hoping to get the last ghoul to pick up the kill, but he walked in too far, taking 2 tower hits, and Asno Gordo in the right position, picking up that kill. But meanwhile, in that bottom lane, Gregbot taking so much damage.
And she flashed!
Gator... Wait, really? She flashed? Oh my, that is so unfortunate. Like,
as she died, she flashed. I think that it was queued up, and so right when the stun wore off, it just went off automatically. That is so rough. But there's going to be a dive in the bottom lane on the few. One tower shot tanked up by Garter, that's it. Craigsfa's just going to show up and say, hey guys, I'm here. Oh, the party's already over.
That was smart, though. The moment Fahoot saw the Pantheon there, he just immediately walked towards the Kog'Maw, denying the assist from Pantheon. So that was well played by him. Just minimizing the gold.
Yeah, I think that the Pantheon wouldn't have picked up the assist anyway because it was 2 auto attacks out of Gregbot, and then he was just fine. Like that Graves was long gone. So yes, the first kill of the game went over to Fiora, and you don't want to feed a Fiora because she can get so terrifying.
Even in the jungle, though, like as you're saying, like yeah, she can get terrifying. You do see her scale a lot less in the jungle, mainly because she won't get the increased gold from lane. But more ganks like that could prove pretty devastating.
It wasn't so much the gank as it was a misplay by quite Proficient.
I'd still call it a gank, though. Like, she was in the lane.
She was there. She was already in the lane, showed her face, and just took full advantage of Proficient being hyper-aggressive. Probably thinking, alright, Fiora was already here. She went back to continue farming, so I'm okay to do this. But clearly he was wrong. It's going to probably make him second-guess any aggression, especially since he's got a 2-level differential against Plasma.
So she's going for Elder Lizard as her jungle item. I guess that would be pretty good. I don't think she'll be farming too much. She'll be more relying on getting ganks off for her gold income.
Absolutely. Like she's going to be alright with Elder Lizard picked up to farm the jungle, but the main source of income really needs to come from kills and objective control. It's not, she can't be Master Yi and just continuously farm the jungle with 2 jungle items, because that does happen with a lot of players. I've seen it more times than I'd like to, where it's you see the Spirit Stone into the Magic's Razors, and then he just farms and farms and farms and farms. Suddenly comes out of the jungle with the Pharaoh Flare, Blade of the Ruined King, as well as an Elder Lizard. Like, how did this even happen? Who let this come to fruition? Because it's 18 minutes in, he's got 3 completed items.
Lack of jungle pressure, that's what happens. And now, Leona, she's taking a bit of aggression, but the shield is gonna keep her barely healthy, and at this point, Kog'Maw's not doing enough damage to Leona with her W1.
But even still, he's doing more than enough to keep a nice lead in this lane. 1 kill, 1 assist between the Braum and the Kog'Maw. And then we're coming close to a 20 farm difference between these two carries. And Kog'Maw will only scale harder. Graves, in the next 4 or 5 levels, he's going to kind of reach his cap. And being forced to flash away, this is a prime opportunity for Gator the next 5 minutes to hit level 6 and just churn out his ult whenever he pleases. Craigsfaw is almost 6 as well. They should have a very nice combo in this bottom lane in the next 2 or 3 minutes.
And now Plasma Demon, he has been pushed to the towers, but he has
a lot of minion damage. Look at that.
So much. Hopefully he'll be able to... Oh no, he's taking so much damage.
Dead.
Ignite is on him, and the ghouls will actually pick up the kill. Quite proficient. He just takes 1 hit, throws the ghouls on him, and just walks away.
Alright, Pantheon is not near the bottom lane, but Gator and Gregbot can still dive this. Look at how low.
Fiora is there though. So she's gonna come in. Gator, he's tanking tower. Gregbot, he takes 1 tower hit. Ultimate comes down from Asmogordo. Exhaust finally comes out. Fahoot picks up that kill, and now Gregbot, he needs to escape. He doesn't have flash. 1 more auto attack will pick up the kill. Asmogordo will be able to get it. Yes, he does.
Alright, now this is where things get tricky, because I was saying in Champion Select, Solo Cup had, on paper, had the better team, but when you're feeding a Fiora, that's when things get very dicey. Charm lands on a minion. That could have potentially been a kill, but Troll Pole was available for Rubling. So he'll be quite alright underneath, just hanging around his own tower. But Thunder Chicken is doing a fantastic job at wave management. Rubling, he needs to come just outside of tower range to pick up any farm, and every single time he does, Thunder Chicken goes crazy.
Yeah, like, he only has the 1 escape, and he's using that to block the charm, which is really good for him. But then that's really like the Troll Pole is really like what you use for AoE clear. There's not really much else he has, and with Thunder Chicken constantly pushing the wave to the tower, it's so difficult for him, Tomer. We can see already that he's down about 30 CS.
Oh, Desi, take a look at the 80 carry items. How do you feel about the Berserker Greaves pickup from Feud?
You needed to have a pickaxe. Like, you're not going to auto attack too much. You're really a burst champion. You don't put out enough consistent damage to warrant a Berserker's Greaves that early.
I'm thinking he picked it up more from mobility, but now Thunder Chicken, having the tides turned on him, look at that. Somehow, that ultimate missed. The big old shark missed. I thought that was clearly on Thunder Chicken's feet, but...
Yeah, I don't know. That was a bit... Maybe it just had to do with Thunder Chicken being on the just edge of it. But now, Asmogordo in the top lane, he's looking to gank. Plasma Demon getting a very nice ultimate, but quite proficient. Is just going to flash away. He wasn't quite stunned by it. It's unfortunate too, because he was near the wall, but he wasn't completely on it. And now Gator diving the tower, he's tanking those hits. Pantheon is there.
Spotted by a ward.
Gonna see a tower dive though. Fahoot, he's in a bad position, and Craigsfaw, he's tanking tower, and he's gonna fall.
But it's actually a nice pickup. Even though a kill went over to Feud, that's gonna be a tower as well as another 2 kills for that bottom lane.
You probably could have seen Kog'Maw tank a bit more damage from the tower. He could have taken a couple tower hits and still walked off with a kill or even an assist.
Easily. I think it almost seemed as if Craigsfaw was a little overconfident with how he was going to use his Aegis, his passive procs.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing was he actually flashed over the river wall here to just sit in this bush for another 10 seconds. So he could have easily saved his flash, walked all the way around here, and
I
then
think
flashed after he took tower aggro.
I think he was just expecting the wave to push a lot faster than it actually did, and that's what the flash came from. Yeah, like the thing is, like you usually in the lower ELOs, like you usually see that AD carries. Like, the moment they get in tower range, they'll do their best to not take any aggro, and that's just like the mistake. If you have low members, take the tower hits. You can afford to. If it's a guaranteed kill, take the hits. If you're not going to be taking anything else, I'm going to say it again, take the hits.
So I wonder what the theme of what you're saying is. Oh man, just barely missing that charm means that Rubling is going to pretty much get out scot-free. He'll get off a little bit of harass on the Thunder Chicken and pick up a couple more farm to his name. Sheen is completed, but just about a 30 farm difference in the mid lane. The Battle of the Assassins seems to be going in favor of Team Solo Cup. With that one tower down, Solo Cup is able to now group mid and start pushing on the tier 1 tower there, and that's actually going to go down. So 2 very quick towers in succession. And all the while, Kite Proficient and Plasma Demon, they're just going to keep having that wet noodle fight up there. And
Leona, using the ultimate with no engage, that's a huge spell to use. And while that all thing was happening in the mid lane, Gator, he was clearing all the vision. He was clearing any vision that FNF had. And now they're going to take this dragon for free.
I have to say the worst thing that happened in this game for Fatty and friends is they picked Gnar to try to outlane bully Yorick. But the thing is, Yorick is so good at staying in lane phase as long as he wants that now Yorick is still in a good spot.
Whoa, that's a flash from Fiora for no reason. Gnar, he's using the teleport. This is gonna be a 5v5 Gator. He's trying to escape, but Gnar, he's not anywhere close to Mega Gnar form just yet. He's trying to get the auto attacks to get it down. Thunder Chicken, he's escaping. He's out of mana. Gator, he's trying to escape using the stand behind me to get away. But now, Leona locking him down, and they're still on the engage. Fizz doing so much damage. Fiora was diving that tower. She falls to Kog'Maw, but so far, this is 3 kills.
It's 3 kills, but how much do Fatty and friends really get from this? Because Team Solo Cup took Dragon, and now they took their 3rd tower of the game. The wave was already pushed up in favor of Team Solo Cup, so now this is a huge delay in terms of responding with some sort of objective control. I don't even know, are they going to be able to even clean up this tower at this point?
I think they will.
The damage should just barely be there.
The Hoot does eat a charm, though.
That's not too scary because...
It wasn't... Yeah, but had Ari gone in on that, she had her Spirit Rush. She could have easily bursted down from Hoot and still gone out.
Yeah, so even still, the kills are even. Tower's clearly in favor of Team Solo Cup. But the biggest thing now, it's the Dragon control. Dragon did go over in their favor, and the map pressure is by far and away in favor of Team Solo Cup. Having those 2 outer turrets down in the outlying lanes, as long as Solo Cup can keep the waves pushed, they can do whatever they want in the mid lane.
Yorick popping his ultimate just to push down the tower, but it's not enough to pick it up. And now the engage back on from Fatty and friends. Ultimate from Fizz comes out, but it's onto Gator, not a key target you really want, and it's not even enough to take the kill. But Mega Gnar comes out, getting a nice 3-man stun. Thunder Chicken is doing his best to do the damage, and now 2 kills. Fall, and now Graves, he's on the defense. He's trying to burst down Crackfire, and it's enough. He's getting locked down by Leona. Yorick, though, he picks up the kill, and now Fahoot, he has to get away.
There was such a good engage from Fatty and friends, just the damage isn't there.
They're just so far behind. Graves, how much gold did he have? He had enough gold for his Bloodthirster, but he didn't pick it up.
I don't even know if a Bloodthirster would be the best pickup for Graves. He did go for it right now, and it's good if you are looking to go one-on-one, so you can keep that shield up, but...
In that form of a team fight, an Infinity Edge would have been a lot better.
Absolutely. The random crits will play out much better than the minimal damage shield at early levels could ever be. especially with the orientation of how Team Solo Cup is lining up in these fights, where everyone's just a big ball mass. And with Graves being at such low range, he's bound to take residual damage at the very least, and he's a squishy target too. So I would easily think that Thunder Chicken is looking to try to pick off that Graves every single time. Just because...
I think... Sorry.
No, go for it.
No, I just think like a huge part of that fight was one, Rubling, he shot his ultimate off and it hit Braum. That's just not a target you want your ultimate on. And like he was aiming for Kog'Maw, but he didn't travel far enough to even try to aim it, so we decided to go for Braum, which is a bit of a bad decision. I think he could have waited a little bit longer. And also Gnar, had he delayed his Mega Gnar form, because as it is, Blue team, they were still on the defense, but meanwhile, I'll get back to this. Looks like Leona gets locked down by the blue team.
Dead.
Yeah, there's no way.
The guaranteed crit is so good, especially once Leona loses her armor steroid, she melts. Yeah. And then there's also Tree Knowledge from Ahri, so there are kind of two abilities that, or two passives, I guess you could say.
But Plasma Demon walking in blind into the bush. He doesn't take as much damage as I would have hoped for, but the charm comes out and now he's on the defense. Thunder Chicken picking up that kill. Ultimate from Pantheon, just gonna get him even with his team.
Now they're pinging the tier 2 tower in top lane. This should be a very easy pick considering Leona is worse for wear. She is pretty behind, almost 2 levels behind her counterpart Braum. And when you have a Pantheon that's simply going to proxy push the wave while the rest of the team takes the tower, you know you're in a little bit of a bind. It's just the assassination potential is long gone.
And Graves is in that bottom lane. Graves is still in that bottom lane. He's trying to farm the wave. He just went back. They're going to continue pushing this down. Their ultimates are all still up. Braum doesn't have his ultimate up though, so that's going to be a huge factor in the team fight. Pantheon, he's on the side. He's waiting for a pick. He's so strong at this point. He has Elder Lizard and he has a single longsword, but that's enough to just pose a threat to Graves.
Alright, so now Solo Cup, they're looking to back off, just placing the occasional ward within Fatty and Friends jungle. Dragon is up in the next 15 seconds though, so they need to try to reposition themselves, head back and buy, get the health and mana back, pick up a couple new items, and then work their way towards that objective. But at this point in time, this should technically be a very easy pickup for Fatty and Friends just due to the relatively low values that Solo Cup are sitting on. You can see the mana pools they're alright, but they cannot sustain through a long siege at this point in time. And there's a huge chunk of gold. Both these teams are essentially even right now with the amount of gold in Solo Cup's pocket.
Unfortunately, both teams were actually starting to go for the dragon. Unfortunately for Team Solo Cup, Yorick went back. And because of that, they weren't able to try and contest it.
And Yorick has no teleport either, which is kind of surprising. For a champion that loves having a long lane phase and is just fine with split pushing all game until their team is actually looking for a big fight, I would have expected him to run teleport over Ignite. But as we saw in the lane phase with the Ignite, he was able to pick up a solo kill. I don't think he picked up the other kill and the other 2 assists until his team started breaking out into the team fights. But
I don't believe so either.
Yeah, so I think that he probably could have been a little bit better off on farm, being a little bit further ahead in terms of items at this stage of the game, but as long as he's helping his team secure objectives, you really can't complain too much.
Yeah. So he's finished the Manamune. I'm not so sure about that. Usually just see the tier and then just keep the tier and just let it farm and then pick up another damage item. Like, well, he's working on an Iceborne Gauntlet. I'm not too sure about the Manamune that early, especially since he has quite a bit to go before it's fully stacked.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Once Yorick gets a little bit of cooldown reduction, the Manamune stacks up in no time. So he's not terribly worried. All he really, as Yorick, you don't even really need a Manamune. As long as you have a little bit of damage and a lot of tanky stats, those ghouls can deal quite a bit of punishment, and you never ever die. Because each ghoul that's out on the field, you take 5% reduced damage. So combine that with your ultimate as well, Yorick just becomes a tank monster.
And actually, I don't know if you noticed, but Yorick, he has no problem of using that ultimate to try and push down towers. And if he does that, to take the tower, and that ultimate dies, the Fatty and Friend, they could take advantage of that and just completely go ham, knowing that Kog'Maw doesn't have a backup plan anymore.
But how crazy can they really go in these fights when each of their big engages have turned pear-shaped rather rapidly? Like, yeah, they get a kill or two, but after that, they all just die.
But now Leona getting a nice solar flare onto 3 members, and the Thunder Chicken, though, he's just doing so much damage. He has been untouched despite being in the middle of the team. Behoot, he was able to do enough damage to pick up Krakfa, but meanwhile, on that bottom side, Fiora dies to the Ahri.
And this is just what I was talking about. They had a beautiful solar flare from Dizix, but after that, nothing really came of it. They had one follow-up on the Krakfa, but even still, that's what he's looking to do. He's looking to get a bunch of upfront damage. Oh, Thunder Chicken, what are you doing? Do not give an opportunity to get back in this game.
He missed it. The ultimate from York comes out, so he will have a second chance to help his team. Now, Leona, he's on the defense. Fizz and Gnar are back up. But Thunder Chicken, he was dead already. He had no problem tanking that tower and doing a bit of extra damage. Quite proficient. He's healthy enough to tank the tower while Gregbot picks up that kill. Fiora, she's on the defense. Picks up a double kill from York, and he can't run. Asno Gordo is just so strong and has so much mobility. Will this be able to pick up the kill, though? It does.
The Acathian surprise. It's never a surprise.
It's never a surprise.
But it's typically Acathian. That makes no sense whatsoever. I tried. The Trinity Force crits were so devastating, though. I don't think I've seen someone with just a Trinity Force in terms of crit have that many critical strikes in such a short time span. That was unbelievable. And then the on-hit effect of the Blade of the King. Actually, I think you just picked the Blade of the King, but even still, the percent health damage that Kog'Maw does in conjunction with the Sheen procs and the random crits that he had, he destroyed, absolutely decimated Fatty and friends. And it just goes to show in the goalie that they have at this point in time, as well as the map pressure. 6 towers to 1. Even with the best raw engage that Fatty and friends can muster, I don't see how they can make it out of this one alive.
Like, a huge part of that was Asno Gordo, he wasn't in position to jump in on those 3 members. Like, I don't know if you saw, but the ultimate only hit the Ahri, and there was just no way for to get a nice ultimate down, because it just took so long after the initial solar flare for the second engage to come back from Fatty and friends.
The best case scenario for Fatty and friends is they need a 3-man Fizz ult with a 3-man solar flare, and then if Graves can get in range to get off his abilities, that would be great. And then the Blade Walls from Fiora, just with best case scenario, they can pick off 3 people like that and then turn the fight around. But what we've been seeing, getting 2, maybe 1 person locked up each time on the side of Team Solo Cup, it's really not benefiting Fatty and friends in the slightest.
And look at Pantheon. He decided to pick up a Last Whisper instead of like a Randuin's, because he knows Yorick and Braum are such a huge front line. He doesn't have to worry too much about getting any sort of tank stats. So he's going to be doing so much damage in the coming team fights.
Yeah, his ultimate goal is deal a ton of damage up front, die, let Kog'Maw clean up the kills. And that's what's been happening every time. So you can see the kill score, it doesn't seem too terrible, but because of these engages that Solo Cup keep making, and they keep getting up these they keep getting the cleanup kills. Even if 2 or 3 members of their team die, they're still able to apply map pressure, and the kills are going onto all the right targets, primarily Kog'Maw and Ahri.
And in that last fight too, Thunder Chicken, he was barely touched. The only reason he actually fell was because he got a bit too greedy, and Behoot dodged the charm, and Leona was there to lock her down.
Yeah, that's just why you can't get too overzealous. But anyway,
Dragon's up.
Dragon's back up, but there's no way Fatty Friends can contest this whatsoever. Every single time they've tried to go for these small channel fights, they just lose. So they need to look for picks, but how are they going to get these picks when they're, in air quotes, picks are all-in engages, and they pretty much need everyone involved?
Well, looks like Fizz just going to pick up the blue buff that will help him keep his mana pool up. Gregbot does pick up the red buff, so that's going to help him so much in terms of kiting uh, the dive from Gnar and Fizz and maybe the Fiora.
The thing is, the dive has not been effective much at all because Fizz tries to get through, but Kog'Maw stands so far back that Fizz needs to use his troll pull, flash in, and Q to really reach that Kog'Maw. But once he does that, there goes his upfront damage anyway, because Fizz's E is one of his biggest damaging abilities. And if that's on cooldown, he's not really doing much of anything anyway.
I'm actually surprised Gator hasn't picked up on Mikhail's, because that would just completely destroy Fizz's damage. Like, not damage, but Fizz's engage.
A Quicksilver Sash would be better in that regard. Because
But the Mikhail's can be used on anyone, that's the thing.
Right. But in Mikhail's, it won't knock the Fizz ultimate off, but if you have a Quicksilver Sash and it's tied onto you, the instant you pop it, you can just walk right out of the ultimate, and then it hits nothing. It's a pretty funny mechanic.
So I thought Mikhail's actually removed the fish.
Nope. That's Quicksilver Sash.
Okay, interesting.
It'll remove the slow from the ult, but it'll still stick onto you. Quicksilver Sash will remove the ult off of your champion.
I believe Mikhail's removed the fish. That is why I thought the Mikhail's would have been good. But no, I guess you're right then. The Quicksilver Sash would have been the right pick.
Now Baron's getting started up. I don't
and they're doing so much damage
with this because Cragpaw is out of mana.
Whoa! Blue team picks up Smite from Pantheon. The teleport from Nardo. He was not anywhere near to help the team, and Asno Gordo, he fell. I don't think. I mean, it was really effective. Cragpaw was so on point with the Smite, but with Gnar being nowhere near your team and not having the Mega Gnar getting channeled up, you really shouldn't have fought that. Had Mega Gnar been available, he could have bounced in and gotten a very nice 5-man ultimate, because that is actually a really big AoE ultimate. It'll knock them all towards the wall, getting a huge stun. That will allow Fatty and friends to just combo their skills, and that definitely would have been a huge fight for them to win.
It was a last-ditch effort to go for the Baron, really.
But was it worth it? Fehoot taking so much damage. Gregbot has the ultimate on him. Fiora channeling the ultimate, and now actually Team Solo Cup, they're falling left and right. Rubling, he picks up that kill. Exhaust is on him, but the Kathleen surprise is going to be enough to pick up the kill. Cragpaw using the ultimate just for the hell of it.
Range.
He's
hoping to get the pick. He's hoping to pick Feud if he didn't go down to the Ignite. Clearly, Feud's gone. Every member of Fatty and Friends is down, and so now this is going to easily be the game, because the only person to come back alive with remotely enough time is Drizix. And as a support Leona, he's not doing much damage at all. This is going to be the Nexus going down. 27 kills to 16. What a bloodbath.
That was so well played by Team Solo Cup. They had their objectives down. They knew their win condition. They knew that if we can just slowly get picks off, and then once we're strong enough, we can just completely steamroll the team. Because as it is, Fatty and friends, they relied completely on the Graves and the Fiora to get somewhat even or fed if they had any chance of winning. Fizz, he'll be able to do good single target damage, but what is he gonna do in the scope of AoE damage? And they knew so, like, by completely shutting down the Graves. Like, sure, Fiora, she got a couple kills in that lane, in the lanes, but Ahri, she was able to completely shut down Fizz. Kog'Maw and Braum, they were able to go somewhat even. They actually did pick up a couple of kills on the Graves and Leona, and just doing so, they shut them down, took dragons left and right, and they grouped together. You never saw them in any place just spread out, and that's just so well played by them.
Yeah, if you're able to shut down a Fizz one-on-one as Ahri, your team's in a pretty good spot, especially with Pantheon never showing up mid. I think his entire focus was in the bot lane the whole game. And it was a great job because Graves is entirely early into mid game. If you can get rid of that strength, well, then there goes the game. But anyway, very nicely done by Team Solo Cup. They're going to move on in this tournament. And so now we're going to take a quick little break. Desi's going to rest his voice. I'm going to do a little bit of singing on the side to annoy him. And we will be back after a little bit of music and once we are in the lobby. So stick around, guys. This is the Epic Fall Tournament. Second year of it. And we will be right back.